Hello. Hi, folks. Thanks for coming. Thank you all for coming. I'm Sid Steide, Director of Small Press Traffic. We are, for those on the live stream, we're here in downtown Oakland on the unceded land of the Ohlone people. Sure, it comes as no surprise to everyone here that white supremacy is embedded in our justice system, and Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted on all charges today. There's a protest going on right outside our doors. For folks who are gonna head over there and catch up with that after, be safe. Write down that NLG number on your arm, get some friends. And my solidarity goes out to those out there. Here, we are going to celebrate the release of two new books, The Move and the re-release of Something Else Again. And so thank you to the publishers, Dogpark Collective and Nomadic Press. Thank you to ProArts for hosting us, and to Moments Co-op for being here and selling some other books on the side. If you are able, buy some books, buy some drinks, support our local publishers and booksellers and spaces. And yeah, let's get going. First, I am gonna call up J.K. Fowler of Nomadic Press to introduce Keith. Keith will read. Eric Sneathen of Dogpark will come up and introduce Gabrielle. We're gonna go straight through the readers. There'll be some short informal break while Sholeh sets up to use the restroom, which is down there, walk around, get a drink, and then Sholeh will perform. And that'll be that. So thank you all for coming. JK.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to keep it brief, mostly because I'm nervous, because I haven't done this in a couple of years. I've been stuck behind a Zoom window. Keith, as you'll all experience shortly, is a really special writer. Aside from that, a very special person, and his presence was something that was a continual gift to interact with as we kind of went on the journey of bringing The Move to life, which is on the back table. And I think it's an important book, and I think you're going to get a taste of why that is. And so we are in a moment, in a series of moments that are all too familiar in this country and around the world, and Keith's work continually speaks to that in a really concise and strong way. So I'm going to introduce you to come on up.
Hey, y'all. Can everybody hear me in the back? You good? Sometimes when I read, I just get like quieter and quieter, so I'm gonna make sure I kind of continue to project. I'm gonna read a few poems from The Move, which just recently came out. Sorry. The first one is called Sketching Lesson. And when I was writing it, I was really kind of thinking through, this was during Trayvon Martin, right? And how the debate around, whether a loss is valuable or right or wrong, it tends to always hinge, for black kids, it tends to hinge on whether the kid kept his nose clean, right? Whether he ate his vegetables, he got straight A's and stuff, right? As if that impacts the level of profound loss, right? So this is called Sketching Lesson. Sketch the boy mid-punishment, under woven straw, minding young crutched tomato vines, weeding, rusty spade chopping, rechopping. Take time on the hands, meet his fingers halfway. Give him his daddy's grip, chin, sin, and when he rises, penance paid, you will provide cool glass, iced tap, wipe both knees clean with good handkerchief. Let two determined eyes betray his thin chipped coat misery. His mouth, biting back smile, begins to give in, just enough to suggest the presence of that complex root system living beneath, feeding, deep breaching, reaching for water. Boy returned handful of penny candy to your corner store, all on his own, and in this condition of forgiveness, he's found himself some home. Too much to this boy you'll never know, beyond shade and perspective, charcoal strokes. Run with that. Ungloved hands circuited into earth, black body like blown fuse box, pencil descending, match striking. Go on, quick fix the kid. Just kidding, as if you ever could. He looks in through the old wire screen door, dim kitchen, to the very heart of you, the shadow within it. So should fiery summer night slain baby make page in morning paper, retrieve me for reference and mourn. Never mind the creases, dog-eared corners, my edge torn. I'm only door for inward opening. But soon, the prospect of unread news causes brooding, and from another buried lead, politicized headline, you're trembling. And in his smudged little ink print image, be it yearbook, Sears, or mugshot, stoical or scowling, grin or grimace, lies no vague feeling, some hunch, but this crystal clear fact. That tiny bit of gone backyard garden would have fed generations. I'm going to jump to really the final poem in the collection. It's called Electric Sliding for a New World. And I talk about it a little bit in the introduction. Basically, it's a lyrical mashup of two songs, Lift Every Voice and Sing, and Electric Boogie, which I always just thought was called the Electric Slide song. Apparently it's not. But I see those two songs as really capturing something very distinct but very different about Black life. One side, the mourning, the brooding, the nightmare history. On the other side, the celebration, right, and the love. So I wanted to bring them two together and see what happens. It's called Electric Sliding for a New World. You can't see it. Stony the road we trod. You gotta feel it. Bitter the chastening rod. You gotta know it. God of our weary years, now you can't hold it. God of our silent tears, but you know it's there, here, there, and everywhere. Some say it's mystic. Have not our weary feet? You can't resist it, yet with a steady beat. You can't do without it, facing the rising sun. Don't want to lose it, of our new day begun. But you can't choose it, true to our native land, but you know it's there, here, there, and everywhere. I gotta move, full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. I gotta groove, 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 full of the hope that the present has brought us. Are you coming with me over a way that with tears have been watered? And I'll teach you, teach you, teach you, treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, but you know it's there, here, there, and everywhere. You can't see it, stony road trod. You gotta feel it, chastening rod. You gotta know it, weary years, can't hold it, silent tears, but you know it's there, here, there, and everywhere. Some say it's mystic, weary feet, can't resist it, steady beat, can't do without it, rising sun, don't lose it, day begun, can't choose it, native land. You know it's there, here, there, and everywhere. Got to move, dark past taught us. Got to groove, 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 present brought us. Coming with me, tears been watered. I'll teach you, teach you, teach you, blood of slaughtered. No, it's there, here, there, everywhere. No, you can't see it, that stony road trod, so you gotta feel it, that chastening rod, so you gotta know it, those weary years. No, can't hold it, them silent tears, yet you know it's there, here, there, and everywhere. And some say mystic, our weary feet, but y'all can't resist it, that steady beat. Can't do without it, that rising sun, can't lose it, our day begun. And no, couldn't choose it, our native land. Still it's there, here, there, and everywhere. And still we moving, full of the faith that dark past taught us. And still we groovin', 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 full of that hope the present brought us. And still you coming with that way with tears been watered. Well then I'll teach, teach, teach you, treading path through blood of slaughtered, because you know it's there, here, there, and everywhere. I'm gonna jump to section 2. It's called Hues, and basically I've taken Langston Hughes' poems and dismantled them, broken down to the words, and reassembled them to make related but new poems. You know, almost thinking about a house, you take a house down to its most basic parts and rebuild it in a different way. You know, you see the house, it's there, but it's different. So this one's called Jazzonia, once again, after the Hughes poem of the same name. Oh, just a bit of silk, I'm sorry, I'm gonna start that over. Oh, just a bit of silken gold in Eve's cabaret eyes lifts, oh, 6 rivers. Jazzers play of a gorgeous, whirling soul, a shining, oh, tree high. The first garden was Cleopatra, singing, dancing in a silver dress. The shining cabaret soul of Harlem jazzers, of the long-headed tree, of the long-headed rivers, shining silver play, oh. A bold tree soul in oh bold gown. 6 rivers were in a girl whose eyes are oh too gold. April Rain Song. The rain drops the silver, night lullaby on your head. Let the rain rain. Let rain kiss the roof. The rain pulls sleep in a song, plays you upon the gutter, makes still sidewalk pools sing on beat. With love, let the rain rain. You and I, our running makes the little liquid. Okay, so now I'm going to finish up back in the first section, which are more conventional, more lyrical kind of poems. This one's called Lamont Community Garden at Midnight. And Lamont, it's basically where I'm from. It's a section of a town outside of Philly, and it's called Lamont because the land used to be owned by Lucretia Mott, who was an abolitionist back a long time ago. Well, during the Civil War, she leased it to the federal government, and it became a training ground for black Union troops called Camp William Penn. And these days, at the heart of it, there's a really nice community garden there, you know, a place where folks can kind of lease a little plot of land and tend to it the way they want. Lamont Community Garden at Midnight. 2 city blocks of quasi-urban agriculture, parceled out, closed in with chicken wire. plowed and planted, land once leased from abolitionists to the federal government, designated for training of black Union troops, some escaped slaves, all green as grass. Where, under armed guard, cold infantry rifles stood slant against counterweight, and cast kettles stewed over coals, and 100 canvas tents spiked down by iron glowed soft moth wings in moonlight. Where strained eyes reread Paul's epistle to Philemon, we steal ripe vine tomatoes just reachable from the road. Your midnight kiss, a fixed bayonet. Tell us again, Onesimus, beloved brother, just who'll be we, darkness born and still rebelling against our lords? This one's called Leaving Limbo, and it's based on a story that a memory of my father's. Back in his neighborhood, a guy he grew up with who was a good kid, stoop boy, ate his vegetables, all that kind of stuff. And one day he decided to leave the stoop, and it changed his life. Leaving Limbo. They let you go, 'cause they don't know. That bag you snatched, absent compassion, piss poor on plan, only lowered shoulder like fist to chin thrown, laid somebody's mama on back of troubled bone, TKO, cold, comatose, spilling precious yolk. Well, she's dead now. No joke. And the last one is it's called Dreaming Hours. And thank you again for coming out. Thank you for having me. This is no time to worry about nothing. Now's the dreaming hour. And sure, they say we pour, but I keep that lamp on in the hall, crack your door. So go on, let big bad light bill soar high as it wants to fly. If we can always go shoot old crow down from open window with this here bow, 'cause neighbor lady with ornery dog still owes me that spare arrow she borrowed for something she won't tell, so I don't. And if that shadow grips your wrist, I'll expose it. And whatever you got that you just can't drop, well then home, they stole it. So free your tired child mind, 'cause no, this is no time to worry about nothing. For now's the dreaming hour. And dreams need sleep like fish need sea. And if we want a big fish, then we gotta go deep, but not too far. Because the farther we go, harder it'll be to breathe. And when you finally do rise, it'll be to pure sunshine, light blue sky, polyester suit, clip-on tie, but eggs and grits. We go to church, and I got just enough bus fare to get us there, and we'll say prayers for merciful return, and so, no, this is no time to worry about nothing. For now's the dreaming hour. And when they come, they go blind, but you see. How life wasn't real when you woke, or honest if you're conscious. But we're not right for a chat like that, 'cause no. Thanks.
It's Eric Sneathan, 6'4". It is so wild to be behind a microphone. It really is. Thank you, Keith. And it's lovely to be here with Nomadic and Moments and to have Dogpark here. Just lovely to be in rooms with you all again. So thank you all for coming out on a Friday, in the rain, on an awful day. It's lovely to share space with you all. My comments are super brief. It's just Gabrielle Daniels will soon be coming to the microphone. Gabrielle, you are essential. You're a legend. It's so wonderful to be friends with you and to have published this book of yours. It was originally published by David Grundy in the UK, and David was kind enough, and you were kind enough to let us reprint it here in the Bay Area where it belongs. And I'm just so happy to be able to share your voice with that many more people. So please come up here, Gabrielle, and it's so good to have you here.
Hello, everybody. Oh, it's a lot of people. I've got Wisconsin on my mind right now, and it's not just because of Rittenhouse, although it's a part of it. I used to live in Madison, Wisconsin. I got a fellowship to the university. And when it was over, I decided to stay. And unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to, so that's why I'm back here. And before I left, I was living with a professor who was renting out rooms. And, you know, it was a nice little neighborhood. Nothing really was going on. And, but I began to observe a few things. I was only about one of four blacks that lived on my street. And when I say four blacks, the one was like a family, two were like a family, and the other one was, you know, someone who was also renting. And we would be just going about our business and everything, but somehow I would see people, white people, looking at us as if we were, you know, where did we come from? Aren't we supposed to be somewhere else? Kind of thing. Anyway, this is kind of like how I felt being a dot. One, we could be like dots on an L-shaped map. Living in this part of Madison, we are not that hard to locate. The other neighbors know we are here, but even if they wanted, they don't know how to walk up the paths to our thresholds, to take in the sweet and sharp and unvarying and unknown fragrances of blossoming and maturing things, if not the aromas of dinner cooking. They don't know how to even enjoy the journey to say hello. The 2 years I've lived on this street, they're still trying to figure out which one of us is which, whether we're related or knew each other from a former life and decided to descend on the block, or whether it's a conspiracy. But we aren't. Only our realtors, the landlords, those gatekeepers, or deus ex machina, or machina, know for sure. They're never consulted like the 10-year plan, but we're always blamed. We're different, and this always confuses them. Like the neighbor, sure and pink-faced, a stranger who stopped in his nearly new truck when I was walking up the hill, steps from my house and almost to the mailbox, and offered me a lift as if I would gladly climb like any woman looking for loose change in another stringy pocket of town. When I politely refused, as I have all strange white men in cars since the age of 16, in answer to his next question, well, which one are you? I said I was the writer. The picture window at my house stays open above the dining table, where I love to write and to drink coffee and to stare at almost nothing, contemplate and watch the days and the seasons wax and wane, from the wild turkeys gathered on the railing to the crabapple tree budding and blooming. The blinds are up, even when it's cold outside, because my live-in landlord says it is a way to show up the neighbors across the street who asked him long before my residence whether he could open his curtains wider so that she can see what is going on. Of course, there's nothing going on. Like most TV entertainment, there are no wives buried in the shrubbery. There's no dope flourishing among the hostas or meth labs in the garage vying with the washing machine and dryer for which is louder. And better yet, there are no large black women running naked between the kitchen and the living room. Nothing worth talking about in the neighborhood, but these days, I note often that her drapes are shut. 2, dots, only dots. A mass would be understandable to them, replicating like cells, reproducing vermin or disease like clockwork, openly expected and feared. Dots are a puzzle and they do not connect, intersect, create the picture they want, as on network news and certain reality shows, advertising order, if not law. We only want what they want, quiet and comfort, when it is at our reach. But they always think that there's more, that it's going to be theirs and what it will cost. Refugees from the South Side, Milwaukee, Chicago, we're always pegged from where there is no escape. Even if you are from California, you're barely American. Our appearance is enough to make the neighbors shiver like the gold maple leaves, a black dot in the middle of each, from the virus that struck the avenue, falling when the summer is spent, dry, nervous, and startled out of sameness. They don't know us, but we can be just as insular and enclosed and as quiet as it's kept as they are. And this bothers them too, because they must know everything just in case. And why is their business? We're not even friends. We don't have to be. We have our own friends. We know each other only by nods, smiles, waves, a few words accented by sheepishness, confusion, or even gratitude, depending on the time of day and what we're thinking, and not necessarily about each other. This is enough. Friendship is weighty and fleeting, but acquaintanceship is freedom and commonality and always open to growth. Childless except for double-spaced pages, sliding dryly out from a printer. I'm just renting a room, but the rest are nuclear dads and moms with or without that paper, who have fleshy, moist toddlers in Pampers and elementary school-age kids who cannot write in cursive, filling whole apartments, houses, backyards for gardens and barbecues, front lawns for Halloween displays like no one else, skeletons climbing out of the crabgrass, giant spiders out from the shake roof for the yearly neighborhood prize, leaving the thoroughfares wide open for just about anything. 3, And what does my other neighbor see as I push my full shopping cart towards home? The black boys around the corner playing touch football, mostly brothers with an occasional friend, rangy, springy-haired, adolescent critical, who live across but down from his corner house, not quite kitty corner. Their youthful shouts and whistles have broken through to him. These are kids amid the room of the mower cutting the grass, green hair of the earth without a comb, grown thick and lush from the underground swell of snowfall. Now he's dragging the mower behind him as if it's defiant mutt pulling on a leash, while sneaking yet another look as they contend on bare, uneven asphalt over the next forward pass in this football-mad town without him. And he really doesn't need to hide behind his shrubbery. He doesn't need a Hail Mary or even an invitation. Is he wishing he could cut the motor, finish the job tomorrow, sit out on the front deck like some latter-day patriarch of old, surrounded by the just hatched daisies and irises and the planted boulders, and just peek and watch the show behind a daily or a magazine? Is he nervous about the ball breaking a window, knocking a resident's glasses off, bouncing off the roof of one of their cars parked in the driveway, or that they will skin their shins badly or break a leg or an arm on someone else's unbounded property who might be sued as they are going for goal? Or does he want to wade in there and contend the next play, join them, but really show them how to do it, how it is done, but never why? There's never one way to sweat, rip, run, be breathless and careless in that preteen way once more, through their brown limbs, like the trunks and branches of young trees, and their shouts reaching for that manly pitch, while doing what they're supposed to do all springs and summers before tablets and androids and more disposable income could keep them indoors. What does my neighbor want? Does he even know? Can he even form the question pinpointed on his lips before reason can intervene? Can he accept that his excuse is not always the answer? This is called Perfection, and it's Serena Williams on the cover of Vanity Fair. Not superhuman, but human. She was never too big at 6 feet to do what a woman must do. At the height of competition, it was too much to withdraw, to apply for salts days after discovery. The vapors are for women without will, and sisters are stronger than that. No doubt buying that myth, but she did it because she found that she could do it safely. She won marveling at herself over morning sickness, weeks into pregnancy. Inner strength she already possessed, stomaching the yearly slingshots and cannonades firing at that body of hers. It wasn't just her birthdays creeping higher or her paler, younger competitors, paid more for endorsements or lack of concentration, practice, or health. It was always the big ass that would not quit mesmerizing, the legs and hips that shone like new pennies, the tennis shorts that hinted of her darker chocolate pleasures, flashing judges, McEnroe, TV audiences, The killer served from those arms like rifles, the hair that baffled, long or braided, flying like a cape, beads banging her back with encouragement. With every wind, she rose a whole woman singing to the gnashing of teeth, queen of her court. Is real strength measured being a woman who will keep her child like any other woman without the change? Caught before deciding love was enough, uncertain who she will be at the end of this journey, the baby's room stays half empty with no crib, a vessel incomplete beyond tennis or business, and part of the knowing choir will again cluck, that baby will always have good hair, while the elastic of a rubber band will stretch beyond its farthest before it tears itself apart or snaps forward intact just about anywhere. And the other part of the choir will croon, any day she'll come back to black, but the future is not decided by the toss of a coin or who presents her with a ring for loving her that much. Some women lose a tooth after pregnancy, it is said, for the child riding so close to the bone. So gain is as inevitable as loss. She knows this as surely as the new life could overthrow even her bigger need to eat clay and spit out the rest. Well, I'm going to read one more. This is for Sergeant LaDavid Johnson. He was the young serviceman who was killed, not sure whether it was Libya or Iraq, I forget exactly, but it came to find out that he was killed not by the opposing people, but by our own fire. That's what came out later. I'll have to check it, but this is for LaDavid. Disembodied. I think of the witch who chopped up her brother, throwing the carmined flesh into the water to slow her father's armada, plowing the waves without an outboard motor. It wasn't sorcery, just craft, braving the sharks here and there. They collected each limb without the blood to assuage the young man's spirit, to mollify his father's anger, if not the gods. Did the brother give up his life willingly for her, America, or was it terrifying that death would arrive not so unexpectedly at his blood sister's hands? They lost the quarry, but carried him home, glum under black sails nonetheless, the body properly entombed, reassembled like the broken artificial borders of territory, made whole only from the eyes of space like another torn deity. I think of the young widowed wife who was warned, like Pandora, not to open the coffin lid or else truth would escape, lay waste to forests of lies. She wanted an open coffin, like any black wife who leans on the Lord, proof against the horror of what they did to him, whether white or black terrorists or police at home, while the baby Lachey within nested, fruit against her bone, so that she and everyone would know It was him. And was he washed, identified, framed, the still tortured face to the rearing, sorrowing one, perhaps fainting in the arms of the nurse's auxiliary? Instead, she heard the words like a hex pronounced. Even her husband's name was written backwards and charred with his tongue. When he couldn't recall it, performing, even before witnesses, that he gave a damn about a finger, about a hand, she will sooner know whether LaDavid will return in the child's faith than what was returned in that coffin. I think what remains of LaDavid is the vibration in his name, recalling both male and female, commander and not sergeant, in 2 languages. He was named because 3 syllables in his mother's mind was a whole new spell from the one that had quickened him into being. This was the only magic that created heroes and wheelie kings from Miami, and yet the dried blood wine pools and whitened trails echo the young widow's moans at the doorstep to his remains in Africa, in America, constantly seeking why, in the cracked dust, not even ours, until only the lowly beasts and insects and questing children, the sons of temporary allies, merely playing at the war around them, can bring the soldiers to find and gather the work of ISIS. Bones that may have been fingers, bones that may have been toes, bleached cartilage that was a nose or an ear, become evidence, cataloged, but in a much smaller box on a cotton pillow of how he died, piece by piece, belying his badges and honors, well celebrated for that moment and sung. Thank you. If you remember, I was referring to Trump in the last poem. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, so, oh, wow. We're going to get started again. Thank you for those two incredible readings. Yeah, really moving. I'm very grateful. Now we're going to get a sound performance by Sholeh. And her work uses voice and everyday objects and sound to create a moment for us in this embodied space, which I'm grateful to be here. And we've done a lot of sound in our previous series. It was all on Zoom, so we get to actually be in the space, and in particular with Sholeh's performance, I think that space is a really important part of that work. So I'm really looking forward to it. And here we go.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for inviting me to be part of this, Sid. And thank you, Keith and Gabrielle, very much. Thank you. So this isn't yet part of the performance, but I just have to reconfigure the mic and set it up so you might hear some noises, and it's really nothing. Test. Okay, so the sound's going through. Great. All right. So much of this is sort of, it might sound a little bit different, I think, on your end, because some of it is kind of running stereo, and so some of the sounds might kind of like cancel each other out or do things, weird things. But then again, I never kind of know which is me and which is like the ghost in the machine or whatever it is that I'm presently wrangling at. And that's just kind of part of the whole process, I think. There's a lot of stuff up here. It's like a spaceship. And I don't really know which one I'm going to use or not. But I think, as Sid had mentioned, using materials is very much part of my process. And I think that embodiment is very much a part of it, and just kind of feeling the space in the room and whatever's going on. letter from memory in a language that I can't actually read. And it's from my mom. She shared a page of her diary with me earlier today, but I can't read the language. So I'm tracing every letter, every character in my mind of the letter with my voice, and touching every sort of peak and curve and dip and punctuation.